So Kyle, dropship or direct fulfillment, I know maybe they're used similarly, or maybe they're the same thing. Can you speak about what that is and maybe how brands can use it?
Sure. So what Amazon calls direct fulfillment is just a 1P dropship program. Okay. Same thing. Basically a mechanism for vendors to fulfill product directly from themselves to consumer, circumventing an Amazon FC.
Right.
Amazon's really made a push to broaden this program over the past couple of years. It's pretty much open to any vendor that wants to partake in it with little to no formal application process.
Right.
It's a good measure to build strategies off of in terms of launching new product. It lets you get Prime or Amazon.com offers available immediately without waiting for a couple of weeks for a purchase order to come through. It's obviously great for bulky product. Kind of eliminates the number of touches, less damage, less returns. And it's also impactful for just inventory backup if there are seasonal swings, fluctuations in forecasting, etc. So a lot of vendors are taking it more and more seriously, using it in a broader sense as opposed to just really heavy, bulky furniture or something,
right.
But rolling it into more of an ever-present part of their strategy with Amazon.
So yeah, I'll just kind of add some stuff. So a couple of years ago, Amazon had major issues receiving product into FCs in the middle of Q4. And that led to way more out of stocks than they would have liked. It was not an ideal situation. The reality is their fulfillment network is massive, but in Q4 with the huge increase in demand, especially Q4, other seasonality as well, but they really can have a tough time at a big bottleneck. So a few years ago, they made a decision to really try to distribute out their fulfillment network to not having everything just have to run through FC. So direct fulfillment is part of that. Seller fulfilled Prime is part of that. And it's been effective. They've kind of gotten away from major bottleneck issues the last couple of Q4s. We expect that they're going to rely heavily on it this Q4 as well. But even outside of Q4, can be really effective for the reasons that Kyle stated. Kyle, one thing, if you could clarify, so you're not automatically Prime eligible with direct fulfillment. How does Amazon determine the ship time to the customer, the customer promise based on what you're doing as the brand?
Sure. So there is sort of a trial period where they basically update that messaging based on your actual turnaround time. So if you're consistently turning orders over within 24 hours, you'll default as a Prime offer that people really wouldn't notice the difference than if it was coming from an actual FC. But if you're slow or if there's a standard time, there's standard jumps of messaging that they give you for turnaround times from 3 to 5 days, 5 to 7 days, 1 to 2 weeks. It all rolls back to your actual operational turnover. And that will update as that turnover increases or decreases. Okay.
And I think another question that I know we get a lot is how does direct fulfillment work with in-network shipments? So, my understanding is in-network's always going to take priority. If Amazon has product in their fulfillment center, that's going to be the de facto offer. It's going to be Prime eligible in most cases. But then as soon as that goes out of stock, if there's a direct fulfillment order, that will automatically then kind of take the place. So from the customer perspective, it may say Prime eligible, 2-day shipping. Once that goes out of stock, they'll see the same shipped and sold by Amazon offer, but it'll then be 3 to 5 days, for example. Is that accurate in your experience?
Correct. I think for the most part, Amazon wants control. That's the only way that they could definitively guarantee when a customer will get a product or can most confidently say, make a promise to a customer. There is a very small level of overlap we see if there is dropship inventory and in-network inventory, but it typically rolls into whatever is most profitable or better for the customer. If the dropship warehouse happens to be closer than the nearest FC, get there quicker, etc., it may still default to that side. But 99+% of the time, it'll always default to the in-network offer.
Okay, got it. So just to clarify, so if you have both offers simultaneously and a customer orders the product that's down the street or in the same city as your warehouse, even though there's an Amazon fulfillment center with the product maybe 3 states away, they'll actually get it still drop shipped. Will be the default offer, and Amazon's system will just automatically figure that out.
Correct. As long as the turnaround times are up to snuff, then yes.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. The questions that we get sometimes are around if there are direct fulfillment offers in the system, does it make it less likely that Amazon will order product into their FC? Do those two systems talk to each other, or are they completely autonomous from one another?
I've never seen actual evidence that shows purchase orders scaling back because of dropship offer. It almost seems to work in the opposite,
Right.
where dropship fills the
Okay.
demand that may not be getting filled because Amazon's in-house inventory isn't keeping up.
So it can spin up the flywheel, and then Amazon actually orders more
Exactly.
direct inventory.
Exactly. And
Okay.
There's also a way, if you want to further incentivize it, to actually charge more for a dropship offer to account for your warehouse overhead, extra costs relative to doing individual shipments yourself versus in bulk into an FC.
Okay, that makes sense. That can obviously be a very different cost situation for brands. So there is theoretically a way to offset that then as well. Okay,
And
awesome.
it seems like this could be useful for like seasonal products then as well, for onboarding those products, having them in the dropship, driving that traffic to those products, and then you can get them picked up and purchase orders quicker. Is that right?
Exactly. Dropship can be used in a way to fill any inventory gap that Amazon has
Right.
at the 1P basis. So if we're going into a peak season, or if the season happens very quickly and purchase orders aren't keeping up with that rise, Dropship will plug that hole and further incentivize the flywheel, like John said before.